Good evening. I'll adjust the volume here. I'm sorry. Good evening. Welcome to the 2025 Ripley County 4-H Rabbit Show. And we are thankful for our superintendents, Mike Weber and Marlene Reilly, and Assistant Project Leader Rick Bauman, and Junior Superintendent Sophie Reilly. I want to go ahead and introduce our judges this evening. And we have with us Dan Long from Willsburg, Ohio. He has raised rabbits for over 60 years. He is in the Hall of Fame for Checkered Giants, Triantus, and he has been an ARB judge for 18 years. He does state fair, county fairs, and ARB shows. This year he is doing the Kentucky State Fair, the Minnesota State Fair, and the New Mexico State Fair. He enjoys showmanship and market animals. So welcome, Danny Long. On the other end of the ring here we have, it's Austin Rudolph, and he grew up in Jefferson County, and he was a 4-H member and showed multiple species throughout his tenure. Over the last 10 years, he has raised and shown many different breeds of rabbits and traveled throughout the Midwest, exhibiting at a local and national level. And he's currently a member of the ARB and the Havana Rabbit Breeders Association. Welcome, Austin. Dan's paper.
The showmanship, we're going to announce the winners, but we want anyone who participated in to come out so they can get their ribbons.
You want me to start with novice?
Yes, you please ask all the novice show.
At this time, we are going to recognize those 4-H exhibitors that participated in showmanship, and we're beginning with the novice. So we ask that all those that participated in the novice showmanship please come out, and then we'll announce the winner of that novice competition. They are to come. Each participant will receive a ribbon, and we will also announce the winner of that novice level. Okay, let's give these novice showmen a round of applause for their work getting started here. Hadley Wagner is our winner at the novice level. And everyone else receives a participation ribbon. So thank you for getting started as novice. Now we'll need the juniors, those that participated in the junior showmanship, to please come out to the ring. You guys can go ahead and go. Great job.
Oh, yeah, I need one ribbon. His son's doing something else.
Oh, okay. How many more participations are we? You'll need, it's okay. We'll grab more if we need them. Okay.
Kinley Gunn.
I think I was actually, this was fourth and third. I was interested in sixth. Okay, these exhibitors are 5th and 6th graders, and our winner in this level is Kinley Ginling. Gunter, I'm sorry. Gunter. Okay, thank you, those of you participating in that junior level. We move on to the intermediate level, and they are exhibitors that are in grades 7 and 8. Our winner at this level is Addison Glaub. Okay, next we need the seniors that participated in the showmanship, and these are grades 9 and 10. And our winner at this level is Sophie Rolls. Okay, we have one more level. So this is a little different from other livestock, and we have a master level, and so that's grades 11 and 12. And so would our master participants please come out? The winner of this level receives a chair from the Wade Narwhal Memorial Fund, and that goes to Gabriel Castlentine. Thank you to all our 4-H'ers that participated in that showmanship. That's a great way to really know a lot about rabbits. We do want to go ahead and thank, we have sponsors for the plates for plaques. And so the novice showmanship was sponsored by Helena Ag Enterprises. So we thank them for sponsoring that award. The junior rabbit showmanship was sponsored by Trackside Pizza. The intermediate was sponsored by Nuring Farms, Josh and Andy Nuring. The senior showmanship was by ADM Feeds, Jim Fry. And finally, the master showmanship sponsored by Pierceville Hay Pal. So give all those sponsors a round of applause for sponsoring those awards. We are ready to start with the senior buck fancy, and they will be showing to my left here on the small table in the ring in class 1. We have Delaney Huseman, Levi Jackson, Caden Luring, Aiden Myers, Isabella Myers, and Brooklyn Robbins. On the other end of the ring here, directly in front of me actually, class 1 senior buck commercial, we have Cody Bada, Adeline Spakowski, Augustine, Isabella, Lillian, and Thomas Spakowski. just some announcements for our exhibitors. We ask that you do not hold the animals unless you need, when you're showing them. We understand that, but we realize it's very hot. It's best if you bring your animal in a carrier, and we will, work, be patient and work through the show the best we can this evening. So.
Okay, just did the fancy senior buck Holland Lops. Let's hear it for the kids. There's 6 of them. I just told the kids it's so hard to get rabbits in condition this time of year. I don't know when they got checked in here at the fair, but just a couple days could really blow their coat. I've got some really good specimens of a Holland Lop senior buck up here. They've asked me to place the first place rabbit. Your winner in this group is right here. If you'll put it at the end cage down there, I'll need it back later. Congratulations, kids. You're excused to the barn.
Okay. Delaney Huseman places first in the Holland Lop class, followed by Caden Luring, Levi Jackson, Isabella Myers, Aiden Myers, and Brooklyn Robbins. Next on the fancy side, we will ask classes 2, 3, and 4 to please come to the table. The Lionhead, the Havana, and the Harlequin. And that is Gracie Weber, Hunter McBride, and Madison Barnhill.
down here to the Champagnes. We have 6 bucks out here. There's a little bit of a difference in between all of them. Couple of different coat varieties, and it's kind of hard, in summertime to have that perfect coat on a rabbit. And there's a couple of different varieties in here with different staining from urine and stuff on them. A couple of different body types as well, but I think the one that fits me the best is the second one right here, the girl with the white shirt. That buck's pretty nice. He has a really nice body, comes out of that hind quarter really well. He's starting to wash out just a little bit under that undercoat, but he still carries enough depth of collar to set him just a little bit higher. And he's the most complete in terms of coat, body, and just overall presence today.
Winner of Class 1, the Champagnes, was Lillian Spakowski. Followed by Augustin, Cody Bada, Isabella Spakowski, Adeline Spakowski, and Thomas Spakowski. Class 2 of Californians, we need on the table Colton Carpenter, Gunnar Carpenter, Kinley Gunter, Camden Seringhouse, and Maximus Simon.
Okay, just got done with class, I believe, 2, 3, and 4. There was one in each specimen, a lion head, a chocolate broken Havana, and a harlequin. I'm going to keep back the Havana. It's a very well-conditioned animal, so I'll keep my good ones over here for a little bit. But congratulations on winning your class and winning your class.
Blues go to Gracie Weber, Hunter McBride, and Madison Barnhill in the Senior Buck Fancy. Next up on the fancy side, we have Class 5, Gabriel Castletine with an English spot, and Class 6, Grayson Morbley with Rex.
Okay, well, I got this rabbit out. This is a black English spot. It is an arched breed. They call it a running breed. It's a marked breed. What you see on one side, you want to see on the other as far as spots and the distinction of spots. Nice clean head, roundness over that hip. This buck expresses pretty decent balance. Got a little congestion up here on the shoulder. Well conditioned, carries himself quite well on the table. That's my class winner, English spot. Down the cage there. Thank you. I got Class 6 here. It's probably one of the best conditioned rabbits I've handled all day today, both in showmanship and in the all breed show. He's got a beautiful coat. I'm going to give it a first place because of his condition. You take real good care of that rabbit, it looks like, and we all appreciate that. First place in that class.
Grayson Mobley receives a blue ribbon. Next up, we have Class 7, the Mini Lops.
In this Californian senior buck class, there's a little bit of different variety in all of the bucks up here. The one that fits me the best is the young man here in the white shirt on the second one in. His rabbit has one of the best coats out of all the Californians up here. I like to see a little bit darker ear on him and a little bit more darkness on that tail as well. He has a really nice coat, pretty finish. I like to see a little bit more fullness of that hindquarter just right at the base of the table just to give him a little bit more balance. But other than that, they're all pretty nice bucks.
In Class 2 of the Californians, first place goes to Camden Searinghouse, second place to Kinley Gunter, third place Gunner Carpenter, fourth place Maximus Simon, and fifth to Colton Carpenter. Next up, we have the Palominos in Class 3 of the Senior Buck Commercial.
Okay, just did Class 7, our mini lops, a high head mount type, rollback fur, want a nice round type rabbit. You don't want any flatness in the hips. Once again, you want a well-conditioned animal, which I do have one that meets the standards, probably exceeds the standards a little bit. Nice winner right here, your winner right here. Go over there.
Kinley Gunter is exhibitor of the first place rabbit in Class 7, the Mini Lops, followed by Jackson McDaniels, Leah Weber, and Emily DeBerger. Up next for the Senior Buck Fancies, we have the Netherland Dwarfs, and we have 2 exhibitors in Class 8. I understand that I mispronounced the last name there, McAdams, rather than McDaniels. Don't ask me where it came from, but McAdams is the correct exhibitor.
So here in the Palomino senior buck class, the young man on my left hand, he'll be the one that wins the class. His is just put together a little bit better, a little bit deeper body, and a little bit more fullness out of that hind quarter, and a little more balanced up correctly versus the other one. I'd like to clean both of them up in their coat. They're both molting really badly, but it's, middle of summer, it's kind of hard. But the color and depth on both of those is really nice as well. I'd like to see them have just a little bit more power, a little bit more muscle to them, but both of them are pretty nice Palominos.
First place goes to Harrison Heilman, and second place to Connor Heilman in the Palomino class. Up next, we have Class 4, the San Juan. First place in the Netherland Dwarf class goes to Hadley Wagner, and second place to Zoe Griffith. Okay, we are asking for Class 5, the New Zealand Senior Buck Commercials, to please be on deck. We only have one exhibitor in that class floor. And then we will ask for Class 9, the Mini Rex. Class 9, Grant Bauman, Braden Bowling, Grace Huber, and Lila Shantz.
Alrighty, so we have a single entry in the San Juan class here. It's a pretty nice rabbit. He has a pretty short body, well fullness out of the hind quarter. He has a really good substance to that ear. Pretty good coat, just starting to break coat just ever so slightly over the top of his back. Pretty nice rabbit.
First place in the San Juan class goes to Braden Bowling. Class 5, New Zealand, please enter the ring.
Okay, class 9, my last class in senior fancy bucks. I told the kids mini Rex, there's a certain weight limit on the mini Rex. There's a couple in here that are just a little bit too big for a mini Rex. And this is a rabbit that needs to be in real good coat to really be competitive. But this little one down here is in great shape. It's got the right compact type body. That's a real nice mini Rex. Congratulations. You stay right there.
We will, in that class then, first place went to Grace Huber, second Grant Bauman, third Lila Schatz, and Braden Bowling. We will now show for champion senior buck fancy, and we asked for Delaney Huseman from the Holland Lops, Havana Hunter McBride, Gabriel Casatine with his English spot, Kenley Gunter with the mini lop, Hadley Wagner, the Northern Dwarf, and the mini Rex Grace Huber. Yes. The sponsor of the senior buck fancy plaque is the T&T Tire Removal LLC, Bart Gauk. Thank you for your support of the Rabbit Show.
Okay, let's hear it for this group, top of the table, fancy senior bucks. I kept 5 back. They've asked me to pick the champion and the reserve. It all got down to coat, condition. You might have saw me check one rabbit several times for the coat. These are very good specimens of their breed, by the way. Your reserve today is the Mini Rex. What a very nice mini lop.
The reserve champion senior buck fancy goes to Grace Huber, and the champion senior buck goes to Kinley Gunter. Congratulations, exhibitors. We will now show the senior doe fancy, and we will begin with actually classes 1, 2, and 3. Class 1 will be Gabriel Castletine with his Dutch. The class 2 is the Havana Melody Meir, and class 3 is Sophie Rolls with a Polish.
So the senior New Zealand class we have here, the one I'm going to use is the one down here on the end to my left. He's the most complete in the package deal today. He has a really nice body. I like to see him just have a little bit more width at that table. He has a really good thick loin and turns over that hind quarter really well. Slacking a little bit in that coat, open coat today, but that's kind of, summertime. And then some of these other ones, there's some really nice New Zealands out here. The white one down here on my right-hand side, it's a really nice buck. I love the head and ears and the substance of that ear on that guy. He has a really nice coat as well. I like to see him just have a tad bit more depth overall. And then this unbroken we have out here as well. It's another nice, powerful buck. He's just a little bit more, kind of squishy, kind of older in age. I like to see him just be a little bit more firmer, to give him a little bit more better coat today.
In that New Zealand class, class 5, Amelia Teasing is our first place. Second, Savannah Weber, followed by Quentin Searinghouse and Peyton Searinghouse, and Gracie Weber rounds out that class. We will now show for the champion senior buck commercial. And so from class 1, we need Lillian Spakowski, and we need class 2, Camden Searinghouse, class 3, Harrison Heilman, class 4, Braden Bowling, and class 5, Amelia Teasing. And we thank our sponsor of the champion senior buck commercial plaque, Weber's Greenhouse and Farm, LLC.
You got it.
Okay, on my fancy senior does, I just did my first 3 classes. We'll start with a real nice Dutch here, a gray Dutch. Very nice general body type, very good coat and condition, a well-marked animal. This is a marked breed also. Havana, just a little bit big for a Havana. I told the young lady, just a little big. I didn't weigh it, but I can tell. Nice coat, well-conditioned animal. And down here we've got our first place Polish. Very nice general body type. A lot of points on the head, ear, and eye on these little things. Got a nice bold eye. Very nice general body type. Very nice Polish. Over there, over there. This will be good.
Class 1, Gabriel Castletine receives a blue ribbon. Melanie Meir, Class 2, receives a blue ribbon. And Sophie Rolls, Class 3, receives a blue ribbon. We are ready for Class 4 of Holland Lops. And we have Levi Jackson, Macy Kelly, Camden Luring, Shane McAdams, and Brooklyn Robbins.
down here in this senior buck class, we have a couple different breeds up here. So when you're going through to evaluate all of them, you're not really comparing apples to apples. They all have their own standards, so you're kind of evaluating and seeing the faults compared to the other one next to them. So there's four pretty nice different breeds up here. My champion's going to be the Californian right here in the middle. He's a really nice buck, really firm flesh, rolls out of that hip really nicely. I really like that buck. I like to clean him up a little bit, give him a little bit better shoulders and a little bit darker ear set. But then moving on down, your reserve's going to be the New Zealand. He's probably one of my favorites up here on the table. I just couldn't put him a little higher just because he's lacking a lot of that coat right over that loin. But he's a really nice New Zealand. I like to see him this fall when he has a better coat in and finished.
Our winner in that champion senior buck commercial goes to Camden Searinghouse, and the reserve champion senior buck commercial goes to Amelia Teasing. Okay, our first class of senior does. We have this Cody Bata, Adeline Spakowski, Augustine Isabella, Lillian Thomas, Josephine Sumi, and Alina Schutte.
Okay, this is my Holland Lop. Once again, you got to watch the weight on these little guys. You got to watch the condition. But I've got a very nice Holland Lop doe up here. And I'm going to ask this young man to keep it up front up here for a little bit. This is your winner right here. Good job, bud.
Winner of Class 4, Caden Luring. Second, Shane McAdams. Brooklyn Robbins, Levi Jackson, and Macy Kelly. We now are ready to show the mini lops in Class 5 for the Senior Doe Fancy. Kenley Gunter, Eva Strewing, and Leah Weber, Class 5 mini lops.
Okay, just finished my class 5, my mini lop does. Got some weight issues here. A couple of them were just a little overweight. We had one that weighed okay, but just had some confirmation issues. The winner was this young lady down here in the does, but I am going to excuse these 3.
Okay. Leah Weber places first, followed by Eva Struing and Kenley Gunter. Next, we have Class 6, the Netherland Dwarfs, Zoe Griffith, Hadley Wagner, and Myra Meir.
Okay, this is my does in the Netherland Dwarf. I have one that's just a little heavy for its breed, but well conditioned. All of them are all well conditioned, but the young lady down here at the end with the little chocolate, it's got a beautiful head, good placement of the ear. It's a chocolate, got pretty good color, but that's your first place right here.
Hadley Wagner is the winner of that class, followed by Myra Meir, and third, Zoe Griffith. Next, we have the Mini Rex Class 7 coming up with Owen Smith and Braden Bowling.
Okay, our Mini Rex does have some weight issues here and some coat issues. The chocolate down here is the winner in this group only because it was the right size, right weight, lacking coat, as you all can see. The other one's just a little big for a Mini Rex, and I placed him second. You can all go back. Thank you.
First place in that Minning Rex class goes to Braden Bowling, and Owen Smith received second place, but he's not keeping either. We now move on to our Lionheads, Class 8, and we have two exhibitors in this class, Gracie Weber and Savannah Weber. We'll be showing for the senior Doe Fancy here shortly, so those of you who were winners in classes, please be near. And the plaque for this champion coming up is sponsored by Pollard's Bowl and Poe's Pub, so we thank them for their support of the Rabbit Show.
Okay, these are my lion heads here, two does. I told the kids the issues with both of them. This is a high head mount type rabbit. It should have a lot of wool around the flanks and fur on the top. This is the only rabbit that's got two kinds of fur. Fur on the top, wool. It's supposed to have a mane and a bib. These are not recognized varieties. I told the kids that. But a very interesting breed that's getting very popular throughout the ARBA and the county shows and the ARBA shows. But congratulations. I'm going to go with the white broken here as your best. This one here second.
First goes to Savannah Weber and second to Gracie Weber. As I said earlier, we'll now show for the champion senior Doe Fancy, and we'll ask those that the judge has kept. So from Class 1, Gabriel Castletine, Class 3, Sophie Rolls, Class 4, Caden Luring,
In here in the Champagne Senior Doe class, Champagne's an interesting breed to, just kind of study and look at them. They have a lot of point makeup in the coat and their guard hairs, and then how far down they carry that intensity. And then body is just as much as the coat. So, going through here, kind of comparing all of them to figure out which one kind of suits me a little bit better was a little bit of a challenge, but it was a fun one. The one I'm going to use for my Champion Senior Doe is down here on the end. She's a very nice doe, really good body. I like to see her have just a little bit more depth of that color undercoat. She's washing out just ever so slightly, but she carries that silvering really well from the top to the bottom and from the nose to the tail.
in the senior Doe commercials. Then he placed Lillian Spakowski, number 1, and Thomas Spakowski, number 2. Next, we are ready for Class 2 of Californians. We'll have Colton Carpenter, Kinley Gunter, Sophie Reilly, Camden Saringhouse. I also want to shout out or thank Trent Linville with Airwaves Network for providing the internet, and Zachary Meneshofer for Rock Solid Solutions for providing the live stream for the fair. So I hope you're hearing us live and well, those taking advantage of that great service. Thanks for joining us for the 2025 Rabbit Show.
Okay, good. They've now asked me to pick my champion Senior Doe Fancy and Reserve. This is a tough decision. I got 3 real nice rabbits up here. It gets down to just nitpicking things that I see. Real nice Holland Lop down there. Beautiful little Holland Lop. Takes me down to the Dutch and the Polish. Both breeds that I really love to judge. Today your reserve is the Dutch. Polish is your grand champion Fancy Doe, Senior Doe.
Gabriel Castletine exhibits the Reserve Champion Senior Doe Fancy, and the Champion Senior Doe Fancy goes to Sophie Rolls. Next, we will be ready to show Junior Buck Fancy. So up Class 1, Gracie Weber and Savannah Weber, please, with their American Fuzzy Lop.
Californian Senior Doe class, when I got out of this first one, she really hit me hard. She was a really nice doe. Has really good strong shoulders, rolls over that hind quarter really well, and good fullness of that hind quarter. She has a really good coat today compared to the other does on the table. Not to take away from the other does, they're nice as well. I would just like to see a little bit more coloring on some of them, a little less smut on the table or on their bellies, just to clean those up in that way. But a lot of the other ones have nice bodies as well.
First place goes to Camden Searinghouse, followed by Kenley Gunter, Sophie Reilly, and Colton Carpenter in the Californian class. Up next is Class 3, the Palominos, Connor and Harrison Heilman. In our Junior Buck Fancy, American Fuzzy Lop, first place goes to Savannah Weber, and second place to Gracie Weber. And we're ready for Class 2 of Dutch with the Junior Buck Fancy, and I already called the Palominos for the Senior Doe commercials. we also have Class 3, the Harlequin class, exhibited by Hunter McBride up on the table too with the Junior Buck Fancy. We're asking for Senior Doe Commercials, Class 4, New Zealand's. Please be on deck.
Okay, this is my Dutch class in Harley. There's only one Harlequin in there and one Dutch. I told the young man down here I love the body type on this Harley. It does have some marking issues. I explained that to him. Well-conditioned animal. Got a real nice Dutch here. It's really marked. This is another marked breed that the judge has to take a little time and evaluate the markings, match the points to the standard. This buck's got a very nice body type, well-conditioned animal, and he's very well marked. I am going to ask to keep him for a little bit.
Okay, for the Junior Buck Fancy, then Blue Ribbons to Gabriel Castletine and Hunter McBride. Class 4, we have the Holland Lops, and we have exhibitors Grace Huber, Delaney Huseman, Brooklyn Robbins, and Jackson McAdams.
So on this Palomino Senior Doe class we have here, they're pretty similar in type. One's just a little bit longer in shoulder, which strings the body out just ever so slightly. They both have a really nice coat, and they carry that texture, that density really well. The texture's there compared to some of the other rabbits we've seen this evening that's not there. So my first place Pal Doe is going to be down here on the left. The other one's very nice as well. I like to shorten that body up ever so slightly.
Okay, this is my Holland Lop Junior Buck, Class 4. I have two very nice specimens of a Holland Lop up here, Junior Buck. This this is a rather tough decision. Just little things that I liked a little bit more over the other rabbit. The other two lacking coat and condition, and they knew it. I didn't have to tell them. Winner in this group is right here.
Winner of the Holland Lop Junior Buck Fancy goes to Grace Huber, followed by Delaney Huseman, Brooklyn Robbins, and Jackson McAdams. Next up, we have Class 5 Mini Rex, Riley Shantz, and Mackenzie Comer.
Okie dokie. Here's my mini Rex. This is maybe the toughest class I had to do today. They're both very nice animals. It got down to just a couple nitpicking things on their coat. One was more finished than the other. Of course, that was my winner, but they're very, very nice. The black rabbit does have maybe a couple faults we'll have to look at. But my first place in the mini Rex is the broken buck right here.
We are showing for the Junior Buck Fancy, and we have in that drive Gabriel Castletine with his Dutch, the Holland Lop, Grace Huber, and the Mini Rex, Mackenzie Comer. The plaque is sponsored by Eric and Marlene Reilly and family, so we thank them for their support of the rabbit program here in Ripley County.
on this New Zealand senior doe class here, there's a couple of different varieties up here, so we're kind of comparing all of them together. A couple of different ones that stick out to me that I like a lot are the colored ones down here at the end. The champion doe, or the New Zealand champion doe, is going to be the black doe here. I like her a lot. She has really good fullness of that hind quarter, carries that shoulder really well into that midsection, and rolls over the hind quarter. I would just like to clean that coat up ever so slightly, and the same thing goes along with the broken doe down there. I'd like to just give her a little bit more fullness at that table, clean that coat up ever so slightly, and just bulk her up just a smidge. All the others, white does down here, are nice as well. I like to see a little bit more depth of body, a little bit more fullness, and a little bit more mass to them. But they have some pretty nice undercoats coming in as well.
In the New Zealand class, first place goes to William Teasing, second place to Amelia Teasing, then Quentin Searinghouse, Peyton Searinghouse, Maximus Simon, and Gunnar Carpenter. Now we will show for the champion senior doe commercial and reserve champion senior doe. We need Lillian Spakowski, Camden Searinghouse, Connor Heilman, and William Teasing.
Okay, you could probably tell by the expression on my face and the time it takes me. This is a tough group of three. Let's hear it for our junior fancy bucks. Three nice animals up here. When you're going for champion run on the table, you want to have that rabbit that meets the standard, which they all do. Then it gets down to their coat and finish. That could knock out a beautiful rabbit. My reserve today is the Mini Rex. Holland Lop is my best buck.
Reserve champion goes to Mackenzie Comer, and the champion junior buck fancy is exhibited by Grace Huber. Congratulations. Now we are showing the junior doe fancy, and we have class 1 and class 2. The Dutch exhibited by Gabriel Castletine, and the Harlequin by Hunter McBride in class 2. Those of you in class 3, please be on deck with your Holland Lops. Our champion senior doe commercial plaque is sponsored by Pollard's Bar and Poe's Pub. We again thank them for their support of the rabbit program here in Ripley County.
Senior does here. You know, we have 4 different breeds up here. We have a Californian, a New Zealand, a Champagne, and a Palomino. There's a lot of different varieties in between each one of those. Just a couple things that I like about each one. I love the coloring of the Palomino. She's a really nice doe that carries it really well. The Champagne, she has a very nice coloring as well. She carries it very evenly throughout and has good depth of color. Your black New Zealand down there, she has a really nice body. I really impressed with her body type. I would just like to clean her up a little bit in that coat as well. And then moving on down to your Californian, she has probably one of the better body types out of here. She just lacks a little bit of that coloring on the ears and stuff. But your Californian will be your champion senior doe, and then your Champagne will be your reserve.
Champion Senior Doe commercial is exhibited by Camden Steering House, and Reserve Champion Senior Doe commercial Lillian Spakowski. We will now move on into the intermediate buck commercials on this far table. In Class 1, we have 3 exhibitors: Cody Bada, Anthony Sumney, and Elena Schutte.
Okay, just did our Dutch, one in the group, and a Harley, just one in the Harley group. The Harley has some marking issues, I told him, and but condition, boy, this young man takes good care of his rabbits, and I told him that. He takes real good care. The Dutch is a beautiful Dutch with beautiful type, well-marked Dutch, but just lacking a little coat and finish today. So when you're up here on the table for running for champion, you got to have that coat, especially at fair time. I will keep the Dutch back for a few minutes.
Blue ribbons to both Gabriel Castletine and Hunter McBride. Class 3 Holland Lops, please. Delaney Huseman, Macy Kelly, and Shane McAdams.
Okay, my Holland Lop. Got 3 up here. 3 nice animals. One of them's got helicopter ears, what I was telling her, huh? Didn't like holding them ears down. That's why they're called Holland Lops. My winner here's a little broken with a nice head. Nice ear carriage. Congratulations. You stay.
In that category, then, Delaney Huseman receives first place, followed by Shane McAdams and Macy Kelly. We will now show for the Champion Junior Doe Fancy and the Reserve Champion Junior Doe Fancy. The plaque for this award is sponsored by Premier Ag Co-op.
class here, there's a little bit, different variety in the coat coloring as well. The one in the middle probably has my favorite coat out of all of them up here. She balances really well from that nose to the tail and top to bottom. And then the one down here on the left-hand side is just a little bit darker in coat, but that comes with maturity. He'll loosen that up just a little bit. But your champion's going to be down here on my right-hand side. I like that doe a lot. She's a little bit looser in firm flesh condition than I'd like to see, but I'd like to see her have a little bit lighter pattern as well. But she's a very nice doe.
First place in the intermediate buck commercial goes to Elena Schutte. We are ready for class 2 of intermediate buck commercial, the New Zealands, and we have William Teasing, Amelia Teasing, Sophie Rolls, Peyton Seringhouse, and Quentin Seringhouse.
Okie dokie. In my junior doe fancy, we kept back to the Hollandlop and the Dutch. The Hollandlop has beautiful body type. It's got a beautiful shape to that head. His issue being a junior buck is the placement of that ear. That ear should be down right behind the eye. He holds it a little bit forward. Now that will come with growth of that rabbit, hopefully. But other than that, that's very, very nice. We got a Dutch here, well marked, beautiful type. That doe's weakness is its coat over the top. But markings outweighs the coat and finish. Your Dutch is your champion. Junior fancy doe. Reserve, junior fancy doe.
Champion Junior Doe Fancy goes to Gabriel Castletine, and reserve champion Junior Doe Fancy to Delaney Huseman. Congratulations, exhibitors. Now we'll show for Best Fancy Rabbit. We need Kenley Gunter with the champion senior buck fancy. We need the champion senior Joe fancy, exhibited by Sophie Rolls. The champion junior buck fancy by Grace Huber, and the champion junior doe fancy by Gabriel Castletine.
Okay, here are your fancy 4 rabbits. Little doe, little buck, senior buck, junior doe, a Polish, a Holland, a Mini, and a Dutch. Once again, you get down to that condition. I'm big on condition, big on coat and fur, and this time of year, you get one in prime condition, goes a long way. Got some up here. Well, all 4 of them are very nice examples of their breed. There's no doubt about that. I am going to rule the Dutch out. Just doesn't have that finish I'm looking for. My reserve fancy for your fair this year is right here. It's called opposite sex. It is a buck. Opposite sex. Reserve opposite sex. Your best grand champion fancy is a doe, is the Polish.
Alrighty, so here on this New Zealand class we have here, we have a couple different varieties up here, a couple different body types as well, a lot of different coat conditions today. My top pick is going to be the white buck down here on the end. He has the most complete package deal. He has the coat today. He has that firmness of flesh that I'm looking for. He has that fullness of hindquarter, that boldness of that rib. He has that nice 3-dimensional shape when you look over top of him. I would just like to give him a little bit more depth of body, but he balances up for what he has.
Okay, so our best fancy rabbit this evening is Sophie Rolls with a Polish rabbit, and the best fancy rabbit opposite sex is Grace Huber with a Holland Mop. So congratulations to those exhibitors. We are showing now for the champion intermediate buck commercial and the reserve champion intermediate buck commercial. The results for class 2 were first place to Sophie Rolls, followed by William Teasing, Amelia Teasing, Quentin Searinghouse, and Peyton Searinghouse. The sponsor for this plaque is Lockery Valley Vet Hospital, Dr. Harley Robinson.
Alrighty, so moving down here we have just 2 entries. We have the Champagne and the New Zealand. Once you get a finished coat on a rabbit this time of year, it kind of goes a little bit further versus some of the other ones in the class. And one of these out here has a pretty finished coat. So your champion's going to be your New Zealand over here on the right. It has a very nice, beautiful coat today. Not taking anything away from that Champagne. It's a really nice bodied rabbit. I like to firm it up just a little bit in flesh and give it a lot better coat. But other than that, it's a very nice rabbit overall.
Champion intermediate buck commercial goes to Sophie Rolls with her New Zealand rabbit, and reserve champion intermediate buck commercial goes to Elena Schutte with a Champagne rabbit. We are now showing intermediate doe commercials, class 1, Josephine Sumney and Anthony Sumney.
here, I'd like to see both of them have just a little bit thicker ear substance. They're just kind of a little bit loose and kind of flopping over a little bit. They both have very nice, promising bodies for, moving up to that senior class. I'd like to clean both of them up just ever so slightly in that coat. They're a little bit darker for my liking. And when you look through the standard, some of those, like the jet black guard hairs, kind of gives a little bit of that texture off. So both of them, their texture is really well, but I think once they move up into that senior class, mold out that undercoat, their texture might be perfect then. But I'd like to see both of them just have a little bit more mass, a little bit more boldness to them. And then when you get over top of the one on my right-hand side, it just doesn't have that three-dimensional shape that I'm looking for. I like to see it have just a little bit more spring to that rib, just providing that that body with a lot more width and depth that carry on throughout the senior age to balance up really well. So my champion's going to be on my left. The little guy over here in the hat, he'll be the one that wins the class.
First place goes to Anthony Sumney and second to Josephine Sumney. Next up, we have Class 2, Camden Saringhouse, Californians, and we'll also ask for Class 3 of the New Zealands with Peyton Saringhouse and Quentin Saringhouse. First place goes to Camden Saringhouse with his Californian in Class 2. Now, Class 3 is on the table, the New Zealand.
off that hindquarter and doesn't peak as far up as I like to see. And then the other one has a little bit of a lower shoulder, but when she finally sits up and kind of poses correctly, she has that nice thickness of loin that I like, and then it rolls over really nicely to that hindquarter. I'd like just to fill it in ever so slightly at the very end of it. It just kind of tapers off, but the back one-third of that rabbit's really nice. Your champion will be on the right side here.
Champion goes to Quentin Seringhouse and then Peyton Seringhouse. We will now show for the champion intermediate doe commercial. And so we need from Class 1, Anthony Sumney with his champagne. Class 2, Camden Seringhouse, Californian from Class 2. Class 3, Quentin Seringhouse. The plaque for this class is sponsored by Weber's Greenhouse and Farm, LLC. So we thank them for supporting the rabbit program here in Ripley County.
In this intermediate doe class, we have 3 rabbits up here. They're all, different breeds, so kind of comparing each one to the standard as I look through them to evaluate which one I think is the best overall. I'm just going to start with your New Zealand. She'll be your reserve. I really like that doe. When she sets up, she's really nice. I would just like to change her ever so slightly in that shoulder, and then she would have moved up a little bit further. But your champion's going to be your Californian down there at the end. It has that very nice finished coat all the way around. It has the body that I'm looking for today and that good firmness of flesh condition.
Champion intermediate doe commercial is exhibited by Camden Seringhouse with a Californian, and the reserve champion intermediate doe commercial is exhibited by Quentin Seringhouse, a New Zealand. Sophie Rules, if you're needed. She receives a chair, the best fancy rabbit. The chair is sponsored by the Wade Norwald Memorial Fund. We need the Junior Buck Commercials, Class 1. They are the Champagne class, and we need Augustin Spakowski, Lillian, Josephine Sumney, and Anthony Sumney. Should be 4 exhibitors in the class. We asked Class 2 or the Californians to be on deck, Sophie Rayleigh and Camden Seringhouse with their Californians. Okay, we are going to have the junior doe commercials on the smaller table, Class 2. Ambrose Mincher and Pius Mincher, please. And also Class 3, the Flemish giant Addison Glaub. Yep. We're just moving the show along in this way. So if we can again have the junior doe commercials, Class 2 and 3 on the small table at the west end of the arena.
Okay, I'm doing the junior doe commercials over here. I've got 2 crossbreds and a classified as a Flemish. A crossbred, the gentleman said these were between a Californian and a Champagne. Well-conditioned animals, these 2. Firmness and flesh, not bad. The young lady down here calls it a Flemish. It could be. Okay? Well-conditioned animal. First, you got these 2, right? This one was first. But I'll excuse you 3. They can all go back. Well-conditioned. You take good care of them.
Class 2 of Cross Junior Doe commercial. First place goes to Pius Mincer and second to Ambrose Mincer. And Class 3, number 1 in Class 3 is Addison Glaub. Now we'll show Class 4, the New Zealand's. Amelia Teasing and Quentin Saringhouse.
On this champagne class, 4 very promising little guys here. I really do like almost all of them up here. There's just, a little bit difference in that coat. Your champion's going to be the one right here in front of me. I really like this rabbit a lot. He is pretty much the package deal for a champagne. I really like his body and his coloring as well. Not to take anything away from these other 3. They're very promising, very nice. They just need a little bit better coat, a little bit more days on feed just to bulk up a smidge. But they'll be really nice later on down the road.
First place in the junior buck commercial, the champagne, goes to Augustin Spakowski. And the other exhibitors also received blues: Lillian Spakowski, Josephine Sumney, and Anthony Sumney. We now need Class 2 of Junior Buck Commercial, Sophie Reilly and Camden Searinghouse with their Californians. On deck, we'll have Class 3. We are asking for Class 1 of the Junior Doe commercials to get ready. Those are the champagnes with, in that class, Adeline Spakowski, Isabella, Josephine Sumney, and Anthony Sumney.
Okay, this is my New Zealand Junior Does commercial. We've got a white New Zealand and a broken red New Zealand. I'm going to go with the broken red here today. She's just a little bit better in condition, a little bit deeper through that hip. Got much better coat and finish and condition. So I'm going to keep her up here for a little bit.
Class 1 then of the Junior Doe commercials on the small table: Adeline Spakowski, Isabella Spakowski, Josephine Sumney, and Anthony Sumney, please. First place in that class goes to Camden Searinghouse, and second to Sophie Reilly. Now we're ready for Class 3, the New Zealand's, the Junior Buck commercials. New Zealand's: William Teasing, Amelia Teasing, Hunter McBride, Peyton Searinghouse, and Quentin Searinghouse.
Okay, this is class 1 of the junior commercial does. Got 4 champagnes up here. This is a commercial breed. Champagnes compete pretty good for market animals too, by the way. They are a commercial breed. If you get a nice single fryer or a pen of 3, they can compete just like the Californians and the New Zealands. This is a beautiful breed of rabbit. We've got 4 up here. Your winner is this young lady down here at the end. And her sister agrees. 4, 3, 2, 1. And you stay. Very nice Champagne Junior doe.
In that class, then, Adeline Spakowski is first place, followed by Isabella Spakowski, Josephine Sumney, and Anthony Sumney. Okay, so we now will show for champion junior doe commercial and reserve champion doe commercial on the small table. The plaque this time is sponsored by the Ripley County Health Department, so we thank them for supporting the rabbit program.
Okie dokie. Picking our best, our champion and reserve junior doe commercial. Got 2 examples up here, nice rabbits, well-conditioned animals. That's not the issue. One's got a little better frame than the other. They both got very nice coat and finish. But when you come to frame, that outweighs the coat and finish. So your reserve is the broken red New Zealand. Your champion junior doe commercial is the Champagne.
Adeline Spakowski exhibits the champion junior doe commercial, and the reserve champion junior doe commercial is exhibited by Amelia Teasing.
Alrighty, so here on this junior New Zealand class, we have a couple of varieties on here. Just to kind of nitpick a few of them, one of the white ones just doesn't have the mass and the muscle compared to the other ones. He's just younger, nothing against him. He just needs more days on feed to compete at a higher level today. Your red ones down here, I like to see them have a lot more fullness of that hind quarter, a lot more bulk in that muscle and stuff. They just lack a little bit of that as well. They're not bad rabbits. They have a very nice coat as well. Moving down here to the 2 whites at the end of the table, both of those are relatively similar in build. There's one that I like just a little bit better, and it'll be the lady with the black shirt. I really like the loin on that rabbit. I like the hindquarters. He blends in really well. I would just clean him up ever so slightly in that coat. And then the one at the very end, I like that rabbit a lot as well. It has very similar characteristics to the other one here, but I would like to give him just a tad bit more fullness at the very end of that loin. He just tapers in ever so slightly.
In class 3 of the junior buck commercials, then first place goes to Peyton Searinghouse and second to Quentin Searinghouse. And the remaining then ribbons, William Teasing, Amelia Teasing, and Hunter McBride. We will now show for the champion junior buck commercial and reserve champion junior buck commercial. And this plaque is sponsored by Glenn and Luann Menishofer.
I have another 3 rabbits up here. They're all very, very nice. I really have enjoyed looking at all 3 of them. They all probably have some of the better coats that I've seen throughout today. Just a couple, a little bit nitpicking on here and there on some of them, but the New Zealand doe, or the New Zealand is very nice. I really like this one as well. So your New Zealand's going to be your champion, and then your Californian will be your reserve.
Champion junior buck commercial goes to Peyton Searinghouse, and reserve champion to Camden Searinghouse. Now we are going to show for the best commercial rabbit. So we need from the champion senior buck class, Camden Searinghouse. From the champion senior doe commercial, Camden Searinghouse. From the intermediate buck commercial, Sophie Rolls. From the champion intermediate doe commercial, Camden Searinghouse. And from the champion junior buck commercial, Peyton Searinghouse. And champion junior doe commercial, Adeline Spakowski. The best commercial rabbit plaque is sponsored by Hoosier Hills Regional Water District. The best commercial rabbit opposite sex plaque is sponsored by the Sherman Law Firm. We also will have a chair to go to the best commercial rabbit, and that chair is again sponsored by the Wade Narwhal Memorial Foundation. as our judge is making his decisions here, we want to go ahead and thank Mike Weber and Julia Klump for helping in the ring, capturing the results from our judges. And then we also want to help thank Rick Bauman and Eric Greeley for organizing the kids in the background here to get them to the ring on time. So thank you to those helpers. We're going to have the queens share some information about themselves. We'll let them introduce themselves. And I don't know, you want to share what your favorite show's been so far this week? Annika, should we start with you? Okay, here is Miss Ripley County.
My name is Annika, and I am Miss Ripley County 2025. And my favorite show so far has been The Rabbit Show. Duh.
Hi, I'm Sarah Sweeney, and I'm the 2025 Ripley County 4-H Queen, and my favorite show has been The Pig Show.
Hi everyone, my name is Cheyenne Cullen and I'm Miss Ripley County third runner-up, and my favorite show this week has probably been the Beef Show.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you for representing Ripley County.
You were going to say Mike and Julia Weber, weren't you?
class is going to be down here at the end with the senior doe.
Camden Saring House exhibits the best commercial rabbit.
And then your best opposite will be the Californian right next to that one as well.
The best commercial rabbit opposite sex is also exhibited by Camden Saring House with his senior buck. Our next class that we will show are the Friars. So class 1 of Friars, all of them are going to come. And so in that class 1, we have Jackson McAdams, Shane McAdams, Sophie Reilly, Camden Saringhouse, Quentin Saringhouse, Braden Bowling, Caden Luring, Peyton Saringhouse, and William Teasing. The awards for the Friars are sponsored by Eric and Marlene Reilly and family. Both the Grand and Reserve are sponsored by Eric and Marlene Reilly and family.
Okay, very interested. I love doing this. Single fryers, pin of three. Austin will be talking about the pin of three, one of the hardest projects, by the way, on the fairgrounds. Trust me. The toughest. There's a class of 2 homegrowns here. Both nice animals. One's just got a little firmer flesh, a little bit better coat. I know we don't eat fur, but that's very important, and a little bit better condition. This is your champion homegrown, reserve homegrown.
Okay, Sophie Reilly exhibits the champion homegrown, and that plaque is in memory of Pat and Jerry Dunbar. And the reserve goes to Camden Saring House, and that plaque is also in memory of Pat and Jerry Dunbar.
Okay, on your champion single fryer and reserve, we both agreed immediately on the same 2 rabbits. We're looking at meat type, which is a nice firm body. Condition, are they nice and clean? Fur, do they have that good fur? I know we don't eat it once again, but that's part of it. Very nice examples up here. But your reserve today is going to be the little New Zealand down here at the end. Very easy decision for me. I know they might all look nice from back there, but boy, when you get your hands on it, that's when you can tell a difference. Easy decision, champion here.
Reserve Grand Champion Fryer is exhibited by William Teasing, and Grand Champion Fryer by Quentin Saringhouse. We will have Class 1 of meat pens next, and those are the champagnes. And we need Adeline, Augustine, Isabella, and Lillian Spakowski. We ask Class 2 and Class 3 of the Californians to please get on deck. In Class 2, we have Colton Carpenter, Gunnar Carpenter, Connor Heilman, and Harrison Heilman. In Class 3 will be Sophie Reilly, Sophie Rolls, and Camden Saringhouse and Quentin Saringhouse. We want to again send a thank you to Trent Linville with Airwaves Network for providing the internet, and Zachary Meneshofer of Rock Solid Solutions for providing the live stream for the fair. So thank you for all of you joining that way this evening to see the 2025 Rabbit Show. We are showing for the Grand Champion Meat Pens. We have some more royalty that has joined us that weren't here earlier when we did introductions, so we're going to let them introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Shelby Williams and I'm Miss Ripley County's second runner-up.
I'm Quentin Sanghouse and I'm 2025 4-H Ripley King.
pen, it's a class of 3 rabbits, all at the same age, under 70 days old, between 3.5, 5.5 pounds. And then you're judging off meat quality. So when you set them up, you want a nice firm rabbit with good flesh condition, well muscled throughout that loin down into that hind quarter. And then it all really starts up at the chest. You need a nice wide rabbit that tapers out in that hind quarter, rolls over nicely out of that loin, and fills out really well. So I know later on we're going to be talking more about meat pen and stuff, but that's just kind of putting out there what we're looking for and looking for a nice firm rabbit. But I think the two pens that we're going to keep out of this to evaluate further on down the road will be these 2 right here in the center. The one on my left will be the first, and then the second will be right here to my right.
In that class, then, Lillian Spakowski is first place and Isabella second. We are ready for class 2. This time the breed is Californians, and we have 4 exhibitors. We've had one. Oh, okay. We want all the Californians, so we're actually asking for class 2 and 3. So we have Colton Carpenter, Gunnar Carpenter, Connor Heilman, and Harrison Heilman, Sophie Reilly, Sophie Rolls, Camden Seringhouse, and Quentin Seringhouse. And our New Zealand meat pens will be on deck.
last class we had with the Champagne d'Argents, you're still looking for the same thing. Those rabbits within 3.5, 5.5 pounds. The only thing that I'll note now, a little bit, we'll get into a little bit more deeper dive, is that when you're evaluating them, if you feel like that big gut and stuff, you feel like that might be good, but you're looking for more muscling. You want more muscling, more depth on that rabbit. Just because when they judging them on meat quality, so if they were all going right now to be butchered, that belly would just go in the bucket. It's just out the window. So just make sure you're having more muscling on those rabbits. A deeper rabbit with a good thick loin and a nice hindquarters is going to go a long ways. But this was pretty evident, like when we kind of look through here, that there's some that stuck out to us. But the first one we're going to keep is the young lady down here on this end. And then as we look through, we're going to keep the second one down here on this end as well.
So that is Sophie Rolls and Sophie Reilly. Now we'll give them a minute to clear the arena here and get ready for classes 4 and 5, the New Zealand meat pens.
there. They had us go back through and look a couple times just to make sure we're not missing anything, but just kind of keep it short and sweet, and we can go into more depth on it at like the very end, because it's kind of the same thing that we've been looking for throughout the last couple sets. But your first place is going to be your broken set right here. It's a beautiful set of rabbits. They're all pretty uniform. And then another set that we're going to keep back for like the grand drive will be this black set right here next to the New Zealand Brokens.
So the two that they are keeping, Amelia Teasing and Cody Bada. So now we will show for Grand Champion Meat Pen. So we will take a minute to reorganize here and bring all of them out. We're showing for homegrown first, I think. No, everybody's coming. Okay, everybody's coming. Cody, so stay. Okay. So as we're letting all these, we should have Lillian Spakowski and Isabella Spakowski, Sophie Rolls, Sophie Reilly, Cody Bada, and Amelia Teasing. The homegrown, reserve, and champion plaques are sponsored in memory of Pat and Jerry Dunbar. The grand champion meat pen plaque is sponsored by Eric and Marlene Reilly and family. The reserve grand champion meat pen is sponsored by Nuring Farms, Josh and Andy Nuring. There is also banners. The grand champion banner is sponsored by Strable Oil Company, and the pen buyer banner is sponsored by Weigel Funeral Home. The reserve grand champion rabbit pen banner is sponsored by Ripley County Farm Bureau Incorporated, the Lockery Township, and the buyer banner is sponsored by Livingston's Abbey Carpet. And then the meat pen will also, Grand Champion Meat Pen will receive a chair from the Wade Narwhal Memorial Fund. Okay, and the homegrown also will receive, the Grand Champion will receive a chair in memory of Pat and Jerry Dunbar. So let's give all of our sponsors a big round of applause. Let's give those parents a round of applause for helping their exhibitors too and completing their projects. And then of course, the exhibitors, let's give them all a big round of applause.
pen set here. I'm just going to kind of reiterate about a little bit that we've done throughout the meat pen. So we're looking for those rabbits under 70 days old, between 3.5 and 5.5 pounds, and well muscled. So when I start to evaluate those, I look at the head and then continue into that chest. You need a nice wide chest floor to be able to pack that heart in there, that lungs, to be able to keep that rabbit going as it gets older, put some more muscling on, ages a little bit. It's got to all start at that chest floor. And then moving on into the hindquarter, you need a nice wide rabbit that tapers from that shoulder into that hindquarter. You need that hindquarter because that's where most of your meat's going to be, and that's your base, that's your skeleton of the rabbit. So you're setting yourself up for success once you start with a good foundation. And then we move up top of the rabbit. You need to have come right out of that shoulder. It needs to be a nice thick shoulder, rolls out into that loin with a nice thick loin because that's the meat that you want. You want a loin that rolls into that, rounds out well out of that, the taper at the very end of that loin, rolls into that hindquarter. And then in the hindquarter, you need a nice full hindquarter meat that goes all the way down the leg to the table so you're getting the most bang for your buck. There's a couple nice sets up here, but what's kind of separating some of us or some of the pens is firmness of flesh and like the firmness of the rabbit. So you think about it, you want a rabbit that has a nice thick hard loin, thick muscle. You want it to feel like a nice hard apple. You don't want like squishy pear or anything like that. So there's a couple nice sets up here. I'll go out and congratulate your champion meat pen, and then I'll get you your reserve.
Sophie Rules exhibits the Grand Champion Meat Pen. Amelia Teasing exhibits the Reserve Grand Champion Meat Pen. She is also homegrown, so she will receive the Grand Champion Homegrown Meat Pen. We're going to look for then the Reserve Grand Champion Homegrown Meat Pen, which we would have the Spakowskis are both eligible, and Sophie Really.
Alrighty, so looking for your reserve homegrown. Same thing as last time. We're looking for the same exact rabbits, and there's a set out here that looks really, really good. They're pretty uniformed. I like to just tweak them all just a little bit just to make them fit together, but overall they're a really nice set. It'll be your California set right here in the middle.
Sophie Really exhibits the Reserve Grand Champion Homegrown Meat Pen. Thank you to our judges, Danny and Austin, and thank you all for being here this evening. And okay,
Hey.
sorry.
On behalf of Austin and myself, it's been a pleasure doing your fair today. Good group of kids, good group of rabbits, but you know what? This here for the kids, but thank the committee during the course of the fair week. They bust their hiney to do this right, and they got rabbits up here. We didn't have to wait, but the committee needs a round of applause. Thank you all.